Let's turn now to WFXR's Hazel Marie Anderson, who is live in Lexington this morning.
Good day to you, Hazel Marie. Still bundled up, I see. How are the bubbles?
Okay, the bubbles are doing great. And I have an answer to the question that you guys asked earlier this morning. How long has the bubbles last? So I blew a couple bubbles in the, what time is it now? Earlier this morning that was. And it's going about 30 minutes these bubbles are lasting. That is how cold it is. It is so cold you can freeze bubbles. So let's let these sit for a while. They've been sitting probably for about maybe 10-15 minutes. And I want to talk about the car for a moment. There are plenty of people that are out on the road here on Lee Highway, and if you haven't left just yet, make sure you leave with enough time to get to your destination safely. But you also want to make sure that you give yourself enough time to warm up the car, and if it is outside, scrape off the snow and the ice. So first, I just want everybody to take a look at what's going on our windshield right now. This snow is covering a nice thin layer of ice. I don't know if you guys can take a good look at that. That is all ice that we're talking about. So make sure you scratch this off, because when you don't, when you're driving, and I've seen this happen recently this morning, all that snow is going to fly and it's going to become a distraction and almost, could cause a serious accident if it really hits another car. Another thing you want to make sure that you're doing on the road is leaving enough space between you and the car in front of you, because stopping times will change. So I'm just going to continue to scratch this off real quick, and we're going to look back at the bubbles. Let's see how they're doing right now. Look at that nice crystallization. I think this is a perfect science experiment for kids to learn about the cold, and it's just pretty to look at. Back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Hazel Marie. We will check back in with you in just a few moments. And those bubbles.
Yeah.
And many of you are waking up maybe wondering just how safe the roads are and what the roads are looking at like in your area. Jason Bond with VDOT's Salem District joining us right now. Good day to you, Jason.
Good morning.
Well, first off, if you could just kind of bring us up to speed on the conditions of the roads right now.
Well, drivers heading out today can expect some icy spots on those interstates and major roads. We were able to make progress overnight in those areas where we did see some snow start to fall. There are some snow-covered roads, particularly in the New River Valley counties along the West Virginia border, portions of Montgomery County, Giles County, Craig County, where we do have some secondary roads and neighborhood streets that are still snow covered.
Well, how does VDOT get information on these conditions?
Well, our folks are dispatched throughout our 12-county region. They monitor the conditions overnight to plow and treat those roads as necessary, and they provide that information into we collect that information and provide it through our 511 system.
And how can people get the latest information about the road conditions, Jason?
Well, 511 has a map that will show the conditions of the interstates and primary roads. You can also look for the TXT view section of the 511 website, and that will have information all the way down to the secondary road level by county. Now, that information is available 24/7. It is the latest information that we have. We do update it periodically throughout the storm so that folks can get the latest information about roads and road conditions.
Now, if someone does need to be driving today, what do they need to know to be safe?
Pay particular attention to those icy spots. Watch out, particularly on bridges, overpasses, ramps, where if there is going to be ice, particularly on those interstates and major roads, that's where it's going to form first. Secondary roads in some areas are covered in a layer of snow. We are starting to work on those roads throughout our area, but if you do have to drive on one of those, they're going to be very slick because there is quite a bit of snow and possibly packed down ice on those roads because of the cold temperatures. So if you are driving on those roads, please use extra caution. Do not brake suddenly. Start out slowly and just leave plenty of space between you and other drivers.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jason. Be very careful, folks. Jason Bond with VDOT Salem District. We will check back in with you in just a few moments.
Now let's check in on power outages throughout the region. With the bitter cold, there are some big concerns if the power does go out. So far, new outages are pretty few and far between in our area. Several hundred people are still without power, though, from Monday's storm. Appalachian Power says crews are working around the clock to get the lights back on and keep them on.
And just a few quick reminders for you folks this morning. If you do happen to run across a downed power line, make sure that you are treating it as if it's a live wire, no matter if you see sparks or not. And that means stay far away from it if you can. You should also do the same for your pets as well as your children. Make sure they're nowhere near down power lines or near anything lines have touched. You should never pick up a power line or move it or be within 10 feet of that downed line.
Well, parts of our region did see some snowfall from the storm. Now that includes Wytheville, which saw at least 3 inches on top of the snow from Monday. WFXR's Kelsey Jean-Baptiste reports.
Good day from Wytheville. I had a chance to speak with the Wytheville Fire Department Chief Mark Brady. He says if you have to be out and about in this weather, be careful. Take a look at your screen. This was the calm before the storm, and now it's a different story. Chief Brady says one of the biggest things he saw after Monday's storm was people not cleaning the snow off their cars. According to Chief Brady, that snow or ice can fall off while driving and make it harder for the car behind you to see. He also says some drivers need to learn how to safely bring their car to a complete stop.
My father told me this a long time ago. When driving in snow and or ice, you never actually step on the brakes, you pump the brakes so that the tires don't start to lose traction. In other words, if you pump the brakes, you'll be able to control the direction of the car.
Chief Brady adds that slamming on the brakes can cause you to spin and most likely lose control of the car. Make sure to download the WFXR TV News app to follow the latest updates on the storm. Local in Wytheville, WFXR News, Kelsey Jean-Baptiste.
Kelsey, thank you. Let's turn now to Roanoke. That's where we find WFXR's Damon Reynolds.
So Damon, what is it feeling like where you are right now?
Listen, it is extremely windy outside. I actually have on a ton of layers. It is cold. As my grandmother used to say, put on your long johns. And I have on some long johns under all my clothes to make sure that I'm actually warm this morning. So for people who have to get up and go to work, who have a morning commute, I advise you, as soon as you come out, the first thing you should make sure is, am I warm enough? Because temperatures are pretty low. It's windy. There's a chill. And I can even feel my hands getting cold through my gloves. Now, I'm actually on Hirschberger Road. I'm next to a Starbucks. I'm next to the McDonald's. All of the places that people like to frequent in the mornings to get your morning coffee or breakfast. So I advise you, if you look behind me, people are driving across these roads. I've seen several salt trucks come down this road because there are spots where there have been black ice and cars are driving slowly. But if you also look, you can see that the road is kind of now began to develop a different color because of how cold it is, but also because trucks have been frequenting this road to make sure that things stay warm. Now, I advise you as you come out also to make sure you're cleaning your cars. I've seen cars coming down the street with ice on their windshields, ice on the back of the cars, and that can be a hazard to other drivers or even to you as a driver, making sure that you're keeping other people safe and yourself. Remember, it is Virginia law to make sure that your car is clean before getting on roads and driving so that you can keep other people safe. Live and local in Roanoke, Damon Reynolds, WFXR News.
All right, stay warm, Damon. Now, we're also keeping track of closures and delays today as a result of the winter storm. You can find it by going to WFXRTV.com and clicking on the yellow banner at the top of the webpage. We also have the list of closures and delays at the bottom of your screen.